So, I had a surprise dose of amazingness today, and I would like to share a little bit about it with you. This is Sandi Maki, and I'm doing a little bit of heavy breathing just before midnight, 11:46 p.m. to be exact, just in case you were wondering. So, I was on Facebook today catching up on all the world news, or all the world news that matters to me in my sphere, since if it's important, people seem to share it, or if it's just interesting, or random, or amusing, and I like it. So, keep it coming. Gary Vaynerchuk had posted a link which I followed because sometimes when links catch your eye, you follow them, which is what I did today when I was on Facebook, catching up on all the world news that mattered to me. Anyway, I came to the end of the string, and there was information on Gary Vaynerchuk doing a keynote at the 500 Inc. event, and I'm going to go ahead and embed and post the link on the site so that you also can head over and take a look at it. Well, there was a quote that was highlighted from the talk, which also said, be careful, there's a little bit of language in here. And the quote was really interesting, and I thought, I haven't seen this lately. It must be relatively new. I should take a look. So I queued it up, and in the office, I took a peek. Some people have it just as a gift, and Gary Vaynerchuk is one of those people. Since he was 4.5, he has been an entrepreneur and a hustler and a business-minded individual, and I think it's great. In the talk that I heard today, I learned more about his story than I think I had known up until this point, and I've read his books and I followed his blog, and it was super, super inspiring. Some people just see it and have the ability to connect the dots and put things together in a way that is just incredible. One of the things that I thought was very interesting, and when I have the opportunity or feel compelled enough to ask the question to Gary, I'm going to find out why at the age of 14 did his father think it was important for him to go to work in the basement of the family business for 10 hours a day on his weekends versus following his entrepreneurial route of selling baseball cards. Because as Gary put it, for a 13-year-old to have $30,000 in cash under his mattress when he's doing something totally legit is quite an accomplishment. I know plenty of adults who have all of the tools at their disposal and still don't manage that one. Anyway, I listened to Gary's talk, and he is spot on with the philosophy and the way that culture is changing, and the way that he talks about the shift that has happened in recent times. And we could use social media as the buzzword. The reality is that things have changed. Communication has changed. People have changed. And it's not that people have gone through some incredible metamorphosis into a different style, but the change is in the way that we communicate. And instead of social media and all of these platforms pulling us apart and having it be more difficult to communicate, it's actually bringing us back to the basics of leveraging our humanness, which has been absent in marketing and big business and shopping and talking with logos. There was no talking with logos in the past. There was shopping with logos. There was push marketing, where marketers put messages out in front of people and people listened and bought things if they felt compelled. With the pull that's going on now, we can pull into our lives those things that we're looking for. And Gary had just so much incredible information. His talk is about an hour long. I would highly recommend that you watch it, listen to it, take notes during it, absorb the concepts that he's talking about, and really spend some time thinking about it. A couple of the major things that I pulled from there when I did take some notes of my own included Gary saying that we are entering the age of the humanization of logos. And he was talking about communicating on a Facebook page. as a logo, as a brand, and answering questions as a person. Now, that's something interesting that I haven't fully grasped, because when I've talked to people about leveraging their Facebook accounts, I've always encouraged being a person on there versus being just a logo, being someone on behalf of the company. But he's saying that you can actually humanize that logo, and I look forward to seeing more about how that's done. He also talks about it being about context versus content. Anybody can create content. Anybody can write, produce audio, produce video, any of the above. It's about putting it in the right context to motivate people and to get people connected. I completely believe that. He talks about the thank you economy and gets a little bit deeper into what he means by that. It means paying attention to what your customers, clients, and connections like and enjoy, and then delivering them something that is surprising or fun, or just calling out of the blue to say thank you, and not concluding with a sales pitch. Simple, really, yet profound in the fact that so many people don't do it. He also was talking about a meeting that he had where he was being asked the question, what is the ROI of social media? And his response that came back was rather blunt, to the point, and I think illustrates it perfectly. And I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm going to let you watch the video so you can learn what that is yourself. If you have a question about what the ROI of social media is, you have to tune in for this one, because the answer is right there. And once you know it, and there's no going back. So thanks to Gary for sharing that secret for everyone who has ever pondered that question. One of my other favorite lines, and Gary has a way of just saying it like it is. By the way, if you are just tuning into me recently, I did have the opportunity to meet Gary and spend some time with him at Wine Library back in January of last year. So it's, of this year. So it's going on a year. That would also be the time where my business partner got the car towed in New York City. And we did a fun little YouTube video about that. It's all about perspectives, and a huge marketing and branding thing for, the car towing industry in any metropolitan area. I would highly recommend checking that out as well. Anyway, one of Gary's lines that was stellar was, take all the money that you're spending on dumb shit and put it into humans. Meaning, if your advertising marketing budget includes all of these line item things for dry blah 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 stuff, take it out of there, invest in people. I concur 110%. Absolutely. Gary also says that holding on to something that emotionally feels good is a great way to go out of business. Sometimes innovation, sometimes those decisions that we have to make, maybe they're not the emotionally comfortable ones. But if you're in business to make money and to stay in business, sometimes you've got to do something about that. I love it. Anyway, his content just keeps getting better and better. He sees things that the average person doesn't see, and he's got a way of putting it into words that make the concepts understandable. I was pleasantly surprised at what I heard. Not that I was surprised that I heard it, but that there was something new and so much new information that he was sharing that was so engaging and awesome that I got to listen to it today. So that was kind of like a fabulous reminder from the universe that, this stuff does work and it is exciting, and there are people that get it. And as more of us get it, we can do more of it. And it's just a fantastic place. So I would like to say, because Gary reminded me of Kristen, who works in the thank you department at Wine Library, I would like to personally thank Kristen, who acted as our tour guide during our visit to Wine Library. She helped us with some fantastic wine selections. Gary also recommended a bunch of great things. We got to spend time with him and see everything from front to back in the private wine um, the wine cellar that's in there, and just a bunch of amazingness going on over at Wine Library. And then what Gary has done since then, leveraging his brand and taking the message of what he knows and what he sees in people, in human nature, in marketing, and sharing it with the world, I think is absolutely fantastic. So a big thank you to Kristen, and a big thank you to Gary V for, in general, just being wonderful and sharing that message with the world, because it just makes it a brighter and shinier place. So, until next time, this was Sandi talking about a little bit of amazingness in the corner of the world called New York and New Jersey, a little place called Wine Library, and a really, really special guy named Gary Vaynerchuk.